Happy Global Running Day and happy 50th Read Aloud. Today is a book about chasing your dreams, being brave and determined, even in tough times. Today's book is Dream Big, a true story of courage and determination. This book, Dream Big, is written by one of the most famous race directors, Dave McGillivray, the race director of the Boston Marathon, one of the biggest marathons in the world. I really hope you like this book. Go out for a little run. Happy reading. Read and run on. Dream big. Dream Big, a true story of courage and determination. When I was little, really little, but my dreams, they were big. I dreamed of being an athlete, a professional athlete. Someday, I'd shoot hoops for the Celtics, play second base for the Red Sox, scored touchdowns for the Patriots. My dreams were big, but I was small. The kids at school never let me forget it, ever. When they picked teams at recess, I was always the last one picked, and I mean last. I tried out for lots of teams, but I was never given a chance. After I tried out for the basketball team, the coach sighed and shook his head. "You're a great athlete, Dave. You're just a little too little." This gave me an idea. I ran straight home and up to my room. With a thick black permanent marker, I made a sign. I stuck it over my bed with a little bit of tape and a lot of hope. "Please make me grow." As I got older, I did grow a little bigger, but not a lot bigger. When I woke up on my 12th birthday, I decided to try a new sport, running. No tryouts required. I laced up my sneakers and ran all the way around a huge pond near my house. As I rounded the last corner to home, there was my favorite person in the whole world. "Grandpa," I panted. "I just ran all the way around Spot Pond." "Wow," he cheered. "That's about 5 or 6 miles, I'd guess." "Guess what else?" I said. "When I get bigger, I'm going to be a professional athlete." "Dave," Grandpa began gently, "sometimes in life, things don't work out the way you want, and you have to find a different way. Maybe if you can't be big, you can do something big." After 2 scoops of chocolate chip ice cream with Grandpa, I felt so good, I ran up around the pond again. I ran 12 miles on my 12th birthday. I had started something big. On my 13th birthday, I did it again, but I added an extra mile. On my 14th birthday, I ran 14 miles. 15 on my 15th, 16 on my 16th, and you guessed it, 17 miles on my 17th birthday. All this running inspired another big dream. Someday I'd run the Boston Marathon. A marathon is a long race, more than 26 miles. I never had run that far before, but how hard could it be? So at age 17, with very little thinking or training and a borrowed race bib, I decided to run it. "Grandpa," I'm going to run the Boston Marathon today. Today? Grandpa asked, surprised. But Dave, you haven't trained for the marathon. Are you sure you're ready? Sure, I'm sure, I replied. Tell you what, you do your best, and I'll walk over to the course and cheer you on, Grandpa promised. Deal, I said. I'll wave to you as I sprint by. There I was, at the starting line of the Boston Marathon, 1972. Runners, on your mark, get set, bang! The starting gun went off, and off I ran, fast. I've been dreaming of this race for a long time. In my dream, I sprinted across the famous finish line, breaking the tapes, my arms raised in victory. I just knew I could do it. Wow, was I wrong. At mile 18, I collapsed in a heap on the sidewalk. I couldn't run even one more step. An officer helped me up and into his police car. With the lights flashing, he sped me to the hospital. The doctors said I'd be fine, but I wasn't thinking about me. All I was thinking about was Grandpa. He was still probably out on the race course, waiting. Later that night, when I was back home, Grandpa called. Where were you? He said. I was waiting for you. I just couldn't do it, I groaned. I failed. No, he said calmly. You didn't fail. You discovered something. I did? I asked, rolling my eyes. Yes, you discovered that big dreams don't just come true. They take work, hard work. I'll make you a deal. If you train and work hard, I promise to wait for you next year and cheer you on. Deal, I said. I'll wave to you, Grandpa, as I sprint by. Sprint? Grandpa laughed. Just finish this time. I trained every day, running miles and miles to get ready. Sometimes, though, things don't work out the way you want. Just 2 months into my training, something unimaginable happened. My grandpa died. He wouldn't be waiting for me on the race course. I decided to keep my end of the deal anyway. I'd run the Boston Marathon. This time, though, I'd finish it for him. The day was finally here for my second Boston Marathon. I had trained, I had worked hard, but that morning I woke up sick. I'm still going to run, I told my worried mom. Are you sure? She asked. You don't look so good. Sure, I'm sure, I whispered. I'm running for Grandpa. I didn't feel great, but there I was at the starting line. Runners, on your mark, get set, bang! Off I ran, speeding past the mile 1 marker, mile 2, mile 3. So far, so good, I thought. My legs and lungs remembered all their training. Mile 4, mile 5, mile 6. I wish Grandpa could be here. Luckily, Mom and Dad were cheering me on. Mile 7, mile 8, mile 9. My body ached all over, but I kept running. Mile 10, mile 11, mile 12, still going, but my feet felt like bricks, heavy, sore bricks. Mile 13, mile 14, mile 15. Keep moving, I said to myself. Breathe, breathe. Mile 16, mile 17. At mile 18, my stomach flipped as I remembered collapsing last year. I jogged slowly past. You have to finish this race, I told myself. This one's for Grandpa. Mile 19, mile 20. But I was so sick, so tired. Every single step hurt. Mile 21. My legs began to wobble. My head did too. This can't be happening. But it was happening. Partway through mile 21, I collapsed again. For the second time, I'd let Grandpa down. What a failure. I was still little, always picked last for games, never picked for teams. My biggest dream was to be a great athlete. I slumped down on the sidewalk, completely defeated. It was the end of the road for me. I guess they call this part of the Boston Marathon Heartbreak Hill for a reason. Sometimes in life, things don't work out the way you want. I sobbed into my hands. Really? How about all the times things don't work out? Then I lifted my head and looked around. Something looked so familiar about this place. Suddenly, I realized I had collapsed next to Evergreen Cemetery, Grandpa's cemetery. Grandpa was waiting for me. He had kept his promise, but in a little different way. There he was, silently cheering me on, encouraging me to get back in the race. I scraped myself up off the sidewalk. Slowly, I began limping, then walking, then jogging. Grandpa had kept his promise to wait for me, and I'd keep mine to finish this race. Mile 22, mile 23, mile 24. His encouragement filled my head as I forced my legs to make each painful step. Mile 25, mile 26. The crowds, the cheering, keep going. You're almost there. You can do it. Could I? Could I do it? I did. There it was, mile 26.2, the finish line. As I stumbled across the finish line, I threw my arms in the air and gasped, "Grandpa, we did it." Since that day, I've run every Boston Marathon, every single one. And guess what? I always come in last. You see, I used to just run the Boston Marathon, but now I run the Boston Marathon. I'm the race director. I make sure everything is ready for more than 30,000 runners. Each year, after everyone has finished running and I've finished directing, I go back to the start and run the whole marathon at night. Partway through mile 21, I always smile and give a little wave to Grandpa. I dreamed of being a professional athlete, and guess what? I am. I just had to find a different way. Dream big.